ultimate warrior, isn't he? The combative footballer.
Running back with a flight of the ball with no regard for his safety.
Have a look at this one. Courage.
Brown got back. That was golden, Brown.
With the flight, Brown. Brown coming with the flight. Oh, desperate stuff.
Doesn't hurt me.
Oh, to be honest, that's Jonathan Brown. That's what you come to expect. That's the way he plays.
He's such an instinctive player. He's courageous, and he's earned the respect of the footy world.
Oh, he's not good. Jonathan Brown, gee, this will be tragic. He's trying to get up.
He's going to absolutely smash them.
It's a freak accident, 2 freak accidents in a year, which is a shame because we all love watching him play.
So maybe psychologically, every time you go out in the footy ground, you're being tested maybe more than you otherwise would or others would.
There's carnage and spillage everywhere. Bodies down. Oh, that's serious. Brown appears the worst off. Oh, wow.
I think that one was just bad judgment. I don't think he'll change the way he plays. I think that's Jonathan Brown, and I think it's too hard to just automatically stop going for balls that you naturally would.
If he was to change that, then he changes parts of his game that he may not necessarily be as good at. So I'd say just get himself right and keep going. That's why he's such a great player.
But I think you'll always see Brownie going for balls that others wouldn't.
Welcome back to the Footy Show, live from the Docklands precinct, of course, and 2 of the most courageous players to play in the modern era, Gavin Brown and Wayne Carey, having their say about Jonno Brown. And boys, I might have a look at you over here, Spike. Is it possible, especially as much footy as Jonno Brown's played, to change at this late stage the way he goes about it?
No, I don't think so, and we all admire him for that. And as Wayne Carey said, he's always going to go for those balls when they're up in the air. That's made him a great player, and he'll go back with the flight. But it's sickening to see that in the end, and he wasn't looked after by his teammate.
Well, you can see it here, and he ran into an absolute freight train. Rough, is that the sort of style of thing we see from you when you got the Hawks jumper on?
Not quite. I mean, you wish you could do half the stuff Jonno Brown does, but yeah, it's not good, and you wish him all the best.
Samuel, if you were coaching Jonathan Brown, what's your advice for him?
I'd say don't be stupid, Jonathan.
What?
Discretion should be, in some cases, the better part of valour, particularly if you don't have to prove you've got valour. He doesn't have to prove it, so don't take unnecessary risks when it's not necessary.
You would advise him not...
Which is a double entendre.
You'd advise him not to go for those footballs?
I would.
But isn't that part of what...
I'd rather have him on the park for 99% of the game than spending weeks in hospital having his face repaired when there's no need to do that. He doesn't have to prove that to his teammates because they know it.
What about the other 15 marks that we just saw then that he did take, though, and the impact that it has on his players and his team?
Very good, Gary, but you must decide when it's a good idea to do something and when it's a good idea not to.
Bill, what would your sage advice be?
Mine would be, and I was in the same boat, Gaz, of course. No, look, I had the pullback.
Might have gone too far, Bill.
And did I pull back? I didn't go near it. He's a gladiator, he's a warrior, and he's a leader, and that's why he's a leader. And he inspires his teammates by doing that. And he can't change that. Glenn Archer couldn't change his game. No. So you can't change it, so he continues on.
Those 2 boys who spoke about him, too, Wayne Carey and Gavin Brown, as courageous as any you'd ever see.
Of course.
And I would advise him to continue to do the same.
Would you?
Yes, indeed.
What happens if he continued to do the same and every other year or every other week he was out getting his face repaired?
220 games, has he? 200 games plus now? And he's had, what, 2 big incidents in 200 games. So I think the odds are okay.
Certainly no doubt where the priorities lie up there in Brisbane. If you have a look at the vision here of the great Jonno Brown with about 17 trainers around him. And then poor old Mitch Clark, Gaz.
What's this bloke? What's the next bloke? Go straight past him. He gets nothing, old Mitchy. He only end up with a cart to drive him off and the one they're going to carry him off. Poor old Mitch sat there on his own.
He had the limp off.